Oh my Lord. Yeah. You'd think that would be the one that, yeah, it was awesome.
He's gonna watch Taxi Driver, or he's watching Taxi Driver tonight.
I don't know that I've ever even seen Taxi Driver all the way through.
And if you don't like the way that film looks, the final scene, as I understand it, was made browner so that the blood tones weren't so bloody, and that's what they did to get around. What's what they did to get around the X rating for Taxi Driver. So yeah, because that was originally a rated X movie.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I was reading something about Jodie Foster in that, and that her older sister was stand-in for some of the scenes.
Oh, okay.
And that Robert De Niro would take her out to dinner and basically bore her to death because he was so awkward.
That's funny.
And even at 12, she knew Robert De Niro was a very, very awkward person.
Well, and I don't know if you've seen Taxi Driver, but Travis Bickle wasn't exactly the poster child for charisma.
Yeah.
So maybe he was in the character. I don't know.
Possibly.
I don't know if he's a method actor or not.
He is a little bit.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah. She actually enjoyed it quite a bit, but she didn't like the outfits.
Hey, everybody, this is Matt, and we're at Texas Toast Guitars. By the way, Chris, for the remainder of the program, I would like to be referred to as Deluxe Edition. Okay? So from now on, for the rest of the show, you guys, I'm not going to answer to Matt. I mean, I'll answer to it, but I'm going to go. So yeah, from now on, for the next hour, I want to be referred to as Deluxe Edition.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that why?
I don't know. I just think it's funny. No, I mean, I really don't know why. I just think it's hilarious. Yeah, so it's my I have this video game that like I had to come up with a name, and like everybody's like, death dealer and blood merchant, and I'm like, I'm going to be something funnier than that. And I thought Deluxe Edition was really funny.
Pretty kitty meow meow.
Yeah, you can be whatever you want. But yeah, I chose Deluxe Edition. Yeah. So anyway, one of the Dougs just sent us a super chat because we are ad free. And he says, because I dig Chris's shirt. There you go. Lefty says Deluxe Edition of what? You don't need to know, buddy. It's just Deluxe Edition. So anyway.
Everything.
Yeah, baby. What's the matter with Deluxe Edition?
All things included.
Yeah. So anyway, so when we've got a pretty good topic tonight, Chris, because and there's a picture of Nosferatu, which I think the actual pronunciation is Nosferatu. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But somebody somewhere knows, and maybe they're watching.
Okay.
But
I've been saying it wrong for a long time. If that's the case,
or I'm misleading you. This is we're in an age of misleading, fake news, and all that other stuff. So says everybody. Let me ask you a political question. Okay. We don't get political very often, but let me ask you a political question.
Okay.
This is going to be easy for you to answer. Do you think there's any undecided voters right now? I mean, you're either going to vote for one or the other. Like, is anybody really like, gosh, I wonder who I'm going to vote for? Like, I don't know how many more days we got left. But I keep hearing about these undecided voters. Like, I think you're either not going to vote or you know exactly who you're going to vote for.
Yeah. I think a lot of the undecided are actually I don't want to talk about it.
But my point is that if you walked into Dunkin' Donuts, you'd be way more undecided about what to get, like which dozen donuts to get than you would be which person you're going to vote for. So yeah, it's a peculiar thing. I don't know why I keep hearing about these undecided guys.
Unaffiliated people are, just because you're unaffiliated doesn't mean you're undecided.
Yeah, I think that's probably
a good way to
yeah.
People.
Yeah.
I don't believe anything anybody tells me unless I can see it with my own eyes.
And even then, I saw Forrest Gump go to the White House. So, hey, everybody.
that was secondary, though.
Okay. Brian Duncan sent us $16 super chat and said, I made myself do it. Ad free, baby. Hey, so, we are all the way ad free on all these live things. And this is the deluxe edition of our Thursday afternoon live stream.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think a video every day for the month of October is going?
I think it's going spectacularly.
No, I meant, how do you think it's going for me?
I think you're almost out of ideas, and we're not even halfway through the month yet.
I know, right?
We did one that's going to come out sometime next week.
Well, either tomorrow or Saturday will be the one we did with
that we did yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, which is awesome.
I think it is an awesome one, and it's I'm today years old when I learned this video, and I think it's really cool.
And
well, let me ask you this: do we have a reveal for tomorrow? One of those two over there, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, so it'll be a Saturday. It'll be Saturday.
Yeah, we were talking about that one.
Okay.
Yeah. And how we need to find it a new forever home.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you like this guitar to be your forever guitar?
Hey, Joy, has Curtis Chavez bought that? I did. I sent him a thing. He wanted to know. So Curtis wanted to know what pickup is in this icon, which is a Maverick, because this is the guitar that we took to the Rocky Mountain Archtop Festival. Our Matt F. And somebody dinged the neck, and it's fairly unobtrusive. I don't even know where it is.
There's the 12th fret.
Oh, okay, right here. Yeah. So somebody dinged it. Mm-hmm. I can't tell you what happened to the person who dinged it.
It's on the 12th fret. So if you play by Braille,
it's Braille, yeah. So it doesn't impact anything. Like any Maverick, it's a small finish thing that happened after the guitar was put together. Mm-hmm. So rather than take it all apart, try to fix it, we're like, let's just sell it as a Maverick. So he's like, what pickup is in it? And it's a Dylan DAF, which is, that's an awesome pickup. So anyway, Curtis, if you haven't bought this yet, well, I don't know why. It could be new guitar day for you. If you are not Curtis Chavez and you want to race him to this guitar, you can still get it. This thing's badass.
It's on the website right now, right?
Yeah, it could be new.
What's the website, Matt?
TexasToastGuitars.com. You know why you don't
follow
have to,
the link down below.
Yeah, you can follow the link down below. You don't have to say www anymore.
You don't have to say www.
No, you do. Yeah. So anyway, somebody's gonna have new guitar day. Oh, the other thing that there have been some people who have inquired about the Affirm. You know what the Affirm thing is, Chris?
I do, but go ahead and tell me again.
That's the deal where you apply for credit with Affirm, and then you can pay it off in how long can you could pay it off in 4 years if you wanted to, right?
Yeah, a nickel a month.
Yeah. So you could you could pay it off right away for less interest or whatever you qualify for, or you could pay it off over the course of the rest of your life and have it be not very big of a deal. However, if you use Affirm, you got to select a firm, and then you kind of got to go through the whole rigmarole until the very last screen.
Yeah.
And then it'll have it. When everything okay, so Joy is telling me that when everything totals, then it will be because up until then, it'll be you want to use credit card or PayPal or Apple Pay or any of the other things that if you go all the way through to the end, then you click Affirm and you've already been qualified for Affirm at that point, though, right? You get the so you just got to go all the way through. So if any of you guys are having trouble with Affirm, it's just I don't know why they changed it, but they did. It's the same great deal, et cetera, et cetera. Chris Henrik says, "Hey Matt," and then he put in parentheses deluxe edition. It's deluxe edition, Chris. How about a video on creating an original shaped guitar template, creating your own router template? That's a great idea. I think that is a good idea. And I've actually been doing some stuff we've got a couple new models that are glued up right now. They're ready. They're ready for paint. So you guys will be seeing those soon. Butch says, "Where's the ice bucket?"
I don't have any ice.
Chris Marino is here. Put a message and then retracted. I haven't talked to that guy in forever. How you doing, Chris? Huh? Oh, he redid? I don't see it yet, but anyway. Oh, here we go. Chris says, "Tell us about your biggest mistakes, FUCK ups, etc. I once made a fretboard, cut the slots inlay radius, then proceeded to cut the taper upside down." Oh, bummer.
That sounds like something I might do.
I made a Les Paul one time that it was done and ready for paint, and then I realized it had 23 frets. It was the famed 23 fret model.
That guitar, yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff like that has happened. Yeah.
So, okay, gang. So remember, our live streams are all ad free and brought to you by viewer support like Brian Duncan and Doug Seidlitz, and maybe you. So if you want to send us a super chat, please do so. And if you put a question in your super chat, we always answer those to the best of our ability. Sometimes people just want to go, hey, check me out.
Yeah.
Check out my action. I'm cool. I super chatted. That's what some people like. And that's cool too. By the way, has anyone heard from Doug?
Santinello?
Yeah. Doug, I live in Florida, Santinello.
Oh, no.
Okay. I don't know. We probably should send him we probably should call him live. I don't know if Gary Redburn said yes because he talked to Doug or not, but Gary, we've got your guitar is going to be in the reveal tomorrow. That's a pretty cool thing. Gary says he has no phone. How did you talk to him, Gary?
No phone. How am I going to call him live?
Call him up and see. Yeah. Anyway, let's call him up. Put him on the speakerphone. Okay, we're calling Doug. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Let me get it real up there.
Well, if nothing happens, then
I guess so.
Yeah. This is
Gary said short text.
Spanky's Pizzas.
Yeah. Brian says he hasn't talked to Doug. We saw that Paul Danner was living by candlelight last night. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I did see that, but he was also enjoying it.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Because back in his day when they did
well, hey, Doug, if you're
29 cents a gallon.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Doug, if you can watch this later, I hope that you're doing okay, and we're thinking about you, brother, man. So,
yep.
Anyway,
go fly a kite.
I'm not going to tell Doug to do that.
No, it's breezy out. It's good kite flying weather.
Okay. All right. So, Chris, I don't know, but I've been told that your guitar ain't got no soul.
My guitars all have soul.
Maybe they do.
Soul.
So what in the world am I talking about when I put a Nosferatu picture, and then put that, and then mean mouth everybody and tell them their guitar ain't got no soul?
You've just been told.
Yeah, that's
Somebody
true.
else said that their guitar don't have soul. You're just relaying the message.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you who.
Yeah,
I don't even remember. Yeah,
this is second person information. What?
I heard. Okay, here's the thing. I was listening to a YouTube short the other day, and it was Steve Vai. Now, I think Steve Vai is a tremendous musician, guitar player. Generally speaking, though, like I don't have any of his, like wildly cool instrumental records or any of that stuff. Virtuosos don't do a lot for me past that they're virtuosos. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you that. Let me ask you this. What is Steve Vai's best song that he played on?
The Crossroads movie, everything at the duel at the end.
Okay.
That's the best thing that I know.
That's good. I was going to say Yankee Rose by David Lee Roth.
Also good. Yeah.
Poor Steve Vai. That's going to be his legacy. Yeah.
That one White
Jack
Snake
Butler
song.
and and Jack Butler and.
But that doesn't mean that just because I'm not a mega huge Steve Vai fan, because in many ways I am.
Oh yeah.
But like I, as the song says, I like sloppy, fast, and loud guitar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want no silence and maximum violence. That's exactly the guitar tone that I want. So, but one time, so it was Steve Vai, and he was talking. Steve Vai, he seems like a pretty cool dude, who's also really excellent guitar player. So he was talking about Frank Zappa once told him that, like he came up to him after a show. He used to play with Frank Zappa, and he said, "What did you think?" And Frank Zappa said, your guitar tone or your guitar sounds like a ham sandwich. He's like, what do you mean? Like, I got the Marshall and I got the Strat with the Floyd and I got everything. And he's like, tone's in your head. And, everybody says the tone's in your fingers, tone's in your pedal, tone's in your amp, tone's in your blah, blah, blah. But the simple fact of the matter is that if your guitar ain't got no soul, then it ain't got no soul. Now, I can't explain it, but if your tone sounds like a ham sandwich to Frank Zappa, you're going to have to, get your Ouija board out and ask Frank what he meant. But I don't know. What do you think it means to have your guitar? What does it mean to have soul? How about that?
Well,
our guitars have soul.
I think I'd rather talk about the ham sandwich reference.
Okay, yeah, you can do what you want.
I think what he meant was that it doesn't have any distinguishing characteristics. A ham sandwich is always a ham sandwich. You take a bite of a sandwich, and you can automatically tell if it's a ham sandwich or not.
So it's distinguishing characteristic of a ham sandwich that it is a ham
sandwich. But they're all ham sandwiches, and your sound sounds exactly like all the other sounds.
That could be that's what he meant. I don't know.
That's what I think he meant.
Okay, you guys, if you guys know the answer, let us know in the comment section.
I think basically what he was telling him was, you sound like everybody else. It sounded like everything else.
Okay, maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
Everyone else, maybe. I don't know. So
I'm constantly reminded of, like, I think Bo Diddley is one of my favorite guitar players. Yeah. Not because he was such a great guitar player, but because I like those songs. And then, but like you hear him say stuff, he's like, well, I didn't want to play like this. I couldn't play like how I wanted to play like, so I had to make up this thing that I could do.
Well, that's what the Ramones said too, is that they tried to play like everybody else, but they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So they came up with their own thing.
I mean, the Ramones got soul. Emerson, Lake, and Palmer don't have any soul. Sorry, it's just true. It's a fact. You can look it up. So what?
The Big Book of Soul. Yeah, ELP not in there.
The deluxe edition of the Big Book of Soul. So now it's all starting to make sense, right? Okay. Yeah. So anyway, soul or no soul. Our guitars have soul. Guitars you buy at Guitar Center, basically no soul guitars. Unless it's like a used one that, like, you can tell. How about this? A pre-beat up guitar ain't got no soul. I don't care who the owner. I don't care if Keith Richards himself goes to the store and pulls that guitar off the rack and takes it to the show at the Palladium that night. It ain't got no soul. Now, maybe after the show it does, because Keith played it.
Because some guy jumped up on stage and Keith hit him with it.
Yeah. But I think sometimes you could be like, the owner of a guitar can lend a lot of soul to an instrument, I guess.
Yeah.
But like, okay, Eddie Van Halen's stripedy guitar, the Franken guitar. If there was no such thing as Eddie Van Halen and that guitar never existed, and I made that guitar, you guys would be like, what the heck piece of crap is that? Because that guitar wasn't cool because it was so well done. It was cool because it was Eddie's guitar and he was constantly monkeying with it and changing stuff and doing stuff. And he's Eddie Van Halen. You know what I mean? And I like Eddie Van Halen better than Steve Vai. Not to talk smack
musically.
On Steve Vai. Yeah, me too. Now, if I was to go have a drink with both those guys, I might like Steve Vai better as a human being. I have no idea. Possibly. I'll never get to know.
Not at this point.
Eddie Van Halen's gone, so I'll never know for sure. But Relic guitars, I'm sorry, Fender Custom Shop, you ain't got no soul. Remember we went and saw the Fender Custom Shop guys, and they were like, had all these bodies, and I think Brett actually asked, my buddy Brett asked the guys at the Fender Custom Shop, if I drop this body right now and it gets another ding in it, is it worth more or less? And they're like, just don't drop the guitar, buddy.
Yeah.
So anyway,
you're gonna have to step back from the table.
Yeah. So anyway, what say you, Chris? Let me let you talk for a little bit.
Yeah, that's gonna work out really well.
Okay.
What would you like me to talk about?
Well,
guitar and soul.
Let's talk a little bit about Relic guitars. Zed, for the sake of conversation, says Relic should be earned, not awarded.
Yeah, I think so. I like to make everything as perfect as I can make it.
Mm-hmm.
And if I was to make a Relic guitar, I would make that guitar as perfect as I can make it before the Relic process started.
Yeah.
Now I've heard people say that, well, that's the only way to do it, but I don't actually think most Relic guitars are that. I think at some point somebody goes, well, it's got a thing in it. I guess it's going to be a Relic.
What's one of the worst things you can say to me?
The absolute worst thing you can say in a class is, well, I guess it's going to be a Relic.
Yeah. Matt comes unhinged.
Yeah.
When you say that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because usually you can tell the difference between a Relic and a poorly built guitar, and that's really what they're talking about covering up is a poorly built guitar.
Yeah, shoddy craftsmanship.
Shoddy work, shoddy something.
When people say
Relics don't usually have binding that's just poorly done.
Yeah. Lousy binding is not a that's not a relic.
Relic. Yeah. So.
Okay, but you know what? I think that Gibson guitars, I know there's a Relic Gibson
Here it comes.
stuff. I think that every Relic Gibson should have a headstock repair, and I'm gonna give them some soul points for that.
Really, they should fake it. They should just
paint the crack,
etch in the crack. With like an old nail or something like that. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
look, it was repaired. No, it wasn't.
The right kind of headstock break is actually very easy to repair.
Yeah.
But Ed Roman, God rest his soul, used to say that they should break every headstock at the factory, glue it back together, and then paint over it so you couldn't see it, and it would be a stronger neck joint. I don't know that I agree with that. I don't know. I don't agree with it.
Well, not that you can't break it again, but if it's done right, it doesn't break in the same spot.
It won't break in the same
adjacent to it.
Yeah.
So that kind of lets you know.
So maybe your most likely break.
I'm concerned about the tone though.
Yeah.
Of the guitar with all that glue at the neck joint. Then all of a sudden.
Okay. How about this? This is a great discussion. How about this, Chris? Gibson Les Paul, any Gibson. Any guitar with a busted headstock that's been repaired, I say that guitar's got some soul. Yeah. That guitar's got some mileage.
At least it's got a story. Yeah.
Yeah. Its story isn't.
Unless the headstock broke because Guitar Center doesn't ship them very well.
But even then, that's better than, you know how like the Fender Custom, and I don't mean to be ragging on the Fender Custom Shop, but they do this thing where they're like, boy, if these guitars could talk, you know what they'd say? Yeah, they'd say.
I know what they would say.
What? You came up with it.
Yeah. Get me out from under this bed.
That would be a good thing. They'd be like, I've lived in a factory for the last 13 days. That's how long I've been a guitar.
Their relics. Yeah. If this guitar could talk, it would say, why'd you ding me up? Yeah, ouch, that hurt.
Yeah, this is sucky.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's what they say about vintage guitars. If this guitar could talk, imagine the tales it would tell.
Imagine.
And most of those tales were some kid tried to play me and then shoved me in the closet.
Yeah.
The ones that survived. And then
in one case, Jim Jam Jimmy's dad went and paid $50 for it in 1975.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. Let's come back to this guitar, which had sold before it left the building. Frankly, you know what I mean? This icon here.
It sold before it left the building.
This guitar had soul.
Not had sold. Okay, got it.
Chris, let's start over again.
Okay.
This guitar has soul. As is. It's got a little bit more because it's got a little ding in the head, in the neck now.
Yeah, it's got a story now.
Because some dork put a ding in it at the Rocky Mountain Archtop Festival. Yeah. This guitar is cool because it's cool. One, this is a handmade instrument by actual guitar builders, not guys who work in a factory. This pickup was wound by a guy who makes pickups, a guy, not by a machine, not by, some lady who, is there to collect a paycheck and go home. Someone who actually likes what they do. Then this was a display guitar at the Rocky Mountain Arch Top Fest. I bet this guitar has a story and it's got soul, and you know it when you pick it up. And that's the thing about, you can tell when you pick something up and you know it's got soul. You just know.
Uh-huh.
And it ain't a Squire, and it ain't an Epiphone.
Right.
You know. Let me ask you this: is Jim's 1957 Fender Strat like the ideal example of exactly what a Strat should be set up like?
No,
not at all. Not even close, according to the internet.
Yeah.
Does that guitar have soul?
That guitar would not pass muster.
Does that guitar have soul?
Yes.
All day long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Almost as much as this Icon, actually. I tell you, man, I love everything about this. Like, when you get a guitar that you don't want to put it down, it's got some soul to it.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna let you talk for a little bit, and I'm gonna just kind of.
No, you're not gonna let me talk.
Okay. Well,
I mean, you can say I'm gonna let you talk, but I got nothing to say.
Well, okay, so what do you think of my assertion?
Well, we've talked a lot about this week, and I mean, I always kind of liken this to cars and hot rods and custom cars and custom one-off cars, supercars versus, Hyundais and stuff like that. And, there's a reason that the one-off cars and the hot rods and all that cost what they do. And that's because a few people put a whole lot of time and effort into those things. And that's what makes them cool. And that's what makes them cooler than the Hyundai.
Yeah.
Now, the Hyundai will get you there the same as the hot rod. But you won't look as good doing it. And, I mean, you go to a car show and it's not loaded up with a bunch of cars that people just drove off the lot. It's a bunch of cool custom stuff that people have spent a lot of time on. Yeah. Making it cool.
Putting in the time, putting in the hours, putting in the mileage. Mm-hmm. It's your, I'm not suggesting that a guitar that you buy that's soulless, that's devoid of soul, can't get it. Yeah. But the simple fact is that, guys, I don't want you to have a fire in your house, but think of what you would replace first once you get that insurance check. Is it the pile of crap guitars that you got? The old hunks of shit that nobody really cares about, but there they are. Mm-hmm. Got it, man. First thing I got to do is replace that Epiphone SG, because that's such an awesome thing.
Or even worse than that, the Firefly 335 copy that I got off of Amazon for $149.
The Harley Benton. Yeah. That I've convinced myself is awesome, and basically, I've gone on the internet and I've told everybody how great it is. I get a check from the insurance company. The first thing I'm going to do is go get one of them because it's so rad. Yep. Said no one ever.
Load up on marginal guitars.
On marginal junk.
Once again.
That's right, Chris. Yeah. Jay says, I've got no issues with something that someone beats on because they like the way it looks. Think rat rods, but not if they're going to make it look like someone else's thing. I think that's cool too, Jay. Dylan Talks Tone sent us a super chat, and he said, I should market that as a service to Gibson. Send me the custom shop guitars and I'll etch a fake crack in them. Hell, Gibson, send it to me and I'll break the damn headstocks off.
We'll do it for real.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't want any etching. I want the real McCoy. Okay.
At one of the guitar shows that we were at, it was one of the NAMMs. Uh-huh. There was a booth and there was a kid, young adult, who was painstakingly relicking a Strat body to look exactly like the Stevie Raybon Strat with like a little razor knife. And he was sitting there, and I think it was drawn out, and he had a picture, and he was just sitting there chipping away paint. And I thought, yep, that's just like Stevie Ray. Yeah. How Stevie Ray did it.
What a way to live.
Yeah. And people were, whoa, look at that. That looks almost, who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if you want a Stevie Ray Vaughan relic Strat, get a Strat.
Is that Doug?
Play the shit out of it and get it to look. Now it's my sister.
Okay.
Get it to look, similar. Or here's my old beat up, Strat. Okay.
Yeah, that
Cool.
I put a bunch of miles on, and I played 150 shows a year with, and I did, and it was my main guitar, and I've got 10,000 hours on that guitar. We talked about this earlier this week too. Would you rather have a guitar duel with somebody who had
this is a hard concept it was hard for me to understand. So let's
okay, let me make sure I say it right. Would you rather have a guitar duel with someone who bought an expensive custom shop Relic job and never and has 0 hours playing it, or somebody that came to one of our workshops, built their own guitar, and then spent 1,000 hours playing it? Who would you rather have a guitar duel with?
Contestant number one.
Yeah. The guy who has no skin in the game.
Way to glory.
Yeah. Tried to buy his way into competency. Yep. There's no soul in buying your way in, gang. So you got to earn it. And you don't have to take my word for it. Black Dog Sheep, Zed just said it. So yeah. So people are still talking about relics and stuff, but Lefty wants to know if why people don't shoot guitars to relic them. Hell, Gibson, you can send me those guitars too. I'll be happy to put holes in them with firearms.
Apparently, Gibson did used to take a bolt gun to bodies that and guitars that were not up to snuff, and they bolt gun them and load them up full of holes and then throw them out. And there's people that dug them out of the Gibson trash and filled the holes and put the guitar together.
I think I've heard that. While you were talking about that, for some reason, I thought maybe we should show everybody a guitar that's got a lot of soul.
Okay.
And it's the one that's over there. And we've been talking about it since he brought it in. Nope, it's right behind. It's on the other side of that. Let's do it. Let's do a reveal of a Texas Toast guitar with a ton of soul. It's in a tweed case, right? Yep, you're getting warmer. Keep going. It's in a tweed case. While you're getting that, let's take a super chat from Rob, who says, "Deluxe, keeping it ad-free edition." Thank you so much, Rob. Bob says he saw Ted Nugent put an arrow through his guitar. So, guys, I don't know why we haven't shown you this guitar yet, but this is Chris is going to bring over a guitar that's got a boatload of soul, and I'm really happy that it made its way back to the shop, and it's been here for a year probably, and we just haven't shown it off. So let's move the microphone. We're going to move the microphone so that you guys can see it a little better. Okay. So, Chris,
you hold it.
What is this?
This is, I don't want to call it Challenger number one, but it's Challenger number one.
I think
of the modern Challengers. There was one or two previous to this.
Yeah.
But this one is among the first that we built.
So I'm
is that
looking,
right?
Yeah, this is probably
this almost predates me. I had a little bit to do with this guitar.
This guitar is probably one of the first 5 Challengers that were ever made.
Yeah.
And
I
now
do remember doing this guitar and assembling this guitar. And I remember this era, and I think there were, this was a batch of 2 or 3 that we did all at the same time.
And I am now fortunate enough to be the curator of this instrument. It is not my instrument. This is actually our good friend Lance's instrument. And so let's talk about some of the, so this guitar was built at my home shop.
This is a Saturday, Sunday guitar.
This was, that's right.
Unless you worked on it during the week, which you probably
I may have. So this is a this is probably one of the very first challengers that ever got made. It's I would imagine if you were to put our templates up against this now, they would be very different.
I think they would be, yeah.
You'll notice that it's got two controls, so it's got master volume and master tone with a switch in the same spot. It's got two humbuckers. It doesn't have the our custom Hipshot bridge. It actually has a stop tail and two pneumatic.
This is V1. We're now on V3 of bridges. Because we did it this way, and then we did the Texas Toast custom bridge. We did those for a while, and then we moved on from that to what we have now.
Yep. This has an actual it's got a rosewood cap, and I think that's painted on, isn't it? That
no, it's an actual cap. You can see it.
No. The Texas Toast logo.
Oh,
I believe is paint.
This is when you were doing
I think
that looks what do they call that? Gilded?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's actual,
but it's not paint. It's silver
leaf.
Silver leaf, I think.
It could be. Yeah. So I stenciled on the so if
good.
Yeah. No, you don't think so? It has a different headstock than we normally use. This is so old it's got Spurzell locking tuners. Okay. It's got a great big neck because all the guitars back then had a great big neck. This obviously predates the 73 finish, but this predates.
This is lacquer.
This is actual lacquer. Yeah.
I can't remember if this predates. I think we were just starting to use the Simtex sealer. It looks like we were using Simtex sealer on this.
Yeah, I think it has Simtex sealer and but lacquer on top.
Lacquer on top.
Does it smell like lacquer?
No.
No, not really. This does have
it is starting to check though.
This does have a Cataloche fretboard.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't even have a black poisonwood fretboard.
Yep.
Is it starting to check?
Look at the front. Yeah, look at the back.
The back is really checked.
Yeah, the back is checked and the front is checked too. The neck is checked.
So this is
all checked.
This is a two-piece African mahogany neck with an African mahogany body and a flame maple cap.
I think you sprayed this burst.
This might have been one of my very early bursts.
Yeah, and we had this one and another one, and this one I think is the one that's on the YouTube.
This
header.
is.
Yeah. This guitar garnered the nickname Covergirl. Lance decided to call it Covergirl.
That's a good guitar
name. We used on a lot of pictures. I think we had a good picture of it.
Yeah.
That goes a long way.
Never changed it.
So, yeah. And it's cool to see. And, this was as good as we could do way back when. This
guitar is probably 12 years old. This is actual lacquer. This is nitrocellulose lacquer. The paint is the color is mixed with lacquer and then sprayed, and then there's clear lacquer over the top of that. So yeah.
Yep.
So this is one of the very, very first Texas Toast guitars. Lots of things are different. Lots of things are similar, if not the same. I think Brett has one of the very early ones.
Brett has one that's
version 2, though.
Yeah, his is a fair amount newer. I think his is almost probably a year or two newer.
Okay.
Because there for a red hot minute, it was Brett had the nicest one, and then La Quattro had the nicest one. And really they're equally nice. But it was like, big jumps in. Oh, this is nicer, this is nicer, this is nicer, starting here. And this is actually a really nice looking guitar.
Which wants to know if there's anything written in the cavities. There might be something in the control cavity. You want to find out? Yeah, sometimes we would write stuff in the control cavity on these. But yeah, so this is an entirely handmade instrument. And guys, our current guitars aren't a whole lot different from. I mean, you can see there are little things, and there's things we've done differently along the way. You know, we've upgraded paints and we've upgraded finishes and we've upgraded necks and we've upgraded yada yada yadas. You want to see, Chris? Chris is going to find out what's in here. Doc says he loves the larger volute. Yeah, the volute, this whole neck is positively gigantic.
Oh, that volute is, yeah. That's a very rare bird looking volute.
Uh-huh. This is a,
no, it's not.
No, it might be.
Oh, it's a button tape over, because I'll bet you it's stuck like
super
stuck.
wicked stuck in there. Yeah, I you know, I kind of forgot this guitar was here. I'm really fortunate to be in possession of this instrument. I bet you this neck is probably 50 or 60 thousandths thicker than one of our current necks.
I got tools to measure it.
Yeah, do you?
Yeah. I built a tool specifically to do it.
All right, Chris, let's see. Hopefully this is sort of like Geraldo Rivera and Al Capone's vault.
Yeah. Getting outsmarted by this
by tape.
tape.
Okay, here we go, gang. Okay.
Nope.
Not a thing. You wired this though.
Yeah.
So you guys can see in there. I can tell you it's Chris wired it because it looks really good. So yeah, this thing's super cool. This guitar's got soul, you guys. It's got a story. It's got a history. It's got you know, somebody
very, very handmade plate.
It's got a handmade plate. Here, I'll let you. But a lot of guitars just don't have any soul, and that's, you know, that's, I guess it's okay if you care about your guitar, then you'll get a guitar that has soul. And if you kind of don't, then
I can't even work the tool.
Oh,
that right there.
Okay.
It's 90. Yeah.
So it's 40 thousandths thicker than a standard one. Yeah. Than a Today Challenger. Yep. So yeah, I think that if you show me your guitar collection, I can tell you how much you care about playing the guitar. And I can probably tell you how much you want to look like somebody else. You know, if you have Stevie Ray stuff, it's pretty obvious you're into Stevie Ray. You know what I mean? If you have a great big floppy hat and you know, and a beat up Strat, then I have a sneaking suspicion you're into Stevie Ray. Nothing wrong with that. But if your guitar ain't got any soul, then
what if you just have a beat up Strat?
Nah, then well, I guess it depends on the story, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think Fender custom shop Strats are really cool. I hate the beat up ones. So, okay.
I follow Fender on Facebook, at least the custom shop, and they always show off, you know, the latest, neatest thing. And I think I look at that stuff and I go, they've never seen an old guitar. That guy's never seen an old guitar. That looks terrible.
Yeah. You're just copying somebody else's.
Completely fake looking.
You're making a copy of a copy.
Yeah. Go to a vintage store and look at some old guitars and take pictures because they don't look like that.
Brian says that Paul Danner just marked himself safe. So I'm glad to hear that. Paul, I don't know if you can hear me or if somebody can, please let everyone know that I'm very happy that Paul and his family are safe. There was something else I was going to say about that guitar. I don't know, Chris.
We should do a deep dive. Actually, this might be the month to do it.
So there you go.
Deep dive into that guitar and a new one.
Okay.
As far as things that have changed and
I know what I was
stayed the same.
I know what I was going to say. Rob said it looks thicker. It's actually not. It's no thicker.
No.
It's flat.
It's flat and yeah.
So
yeah, that's like a level 3.
That would be a level 3.
What a level 3 would look like now. Yeah. Flat, 1 3/4 thick.
How thick are the level 2s?
Inch and 3/4
Inch and 3/4
at this point, but
Yeah.
they have a carve on them, so the edges look really, really thin.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so they look way thinner than they are, but they are still an inch and 3/4 at the thickest part.
Yeah. So
you know how I know?
Because
that's the
you
way it
just
is.
know, because
Yeah.
that's the way it is.
Yeah, I can tell by the way it is.
I can tell when we put a tremolo in
Trim
there.
in it, and it fits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there we go, gang. Get a guitar with some soul. And Curtis, I don't know if you're watching, but if you haven't ordered that icon yet, I hope that you do, and I hope that somebody doesn't beat you to it. But I kind of hope that somebody buys that guitar and has a really cool, full of soul, super cool icon. In fact, any one of these are. I mean, so Curtis was like, "Hey, what pickups are in these?" So this has a Seymour Duncan Antiquity. That has is that a DiMarzio or a Duncan?
That's a
Fat Cat
DiMarzio.
DiMarzio?
Yeah, I think so.
That has a Dylan pickup, and that has a Dylan pickup, the one down at the very end. The gold one with the pinstripes, I can't remember what it has.
It has pickups in it.
Is it
those are pure juice pickups.
Those are pure juice pickups. Yeah. This one's getting pickups soon. And this one's got pure juice P90s in it. I mean, all these are awesome. All these are handmade. All these are made by people who care about what they're doing and doing something that they love. And, we made that video a couple weeks ago. Maybe it was last week, that making guitars in 2024 kind of sucks. Making guitars in 2024 can be really cool too.
I think actually making guitars in 2024 is really, really cool and mostly doesn't suck. Selling guitars in 2024, presenting guitars in 2024, that's when it starts to get a little bit, it can be, less than optimal.
Because a bunch of no-soul people with STDs
because
come on the Stuart McDonald tool derangement syndrome.
Yeah, because a bunch of people that think they know a thing or two think that they are on the same level, the same wavelength, the same whatever, and can tell us, the guys that made the guitar, the guys that have made. We were talking about this earlier this week. How many guitars do you think we've produced out of this shop?
How many guitars do you think we made since we made this one?
Well, and that's actually the same number, because this was a guitar made.
It's one of the very first
shop,
ones.
and we made a lot of guitars at the old shop, but we didn't make nearly the number we make now. And I think we have made over 500 guitars since we moved into this shop.
Since we've been in this shop.
Yeah.
Yep. So and then there was a whole passel of them at the original shop too.
Yeah, and some of those are really nice. A lot of them are really nice, but because it's you and because it's me, I'd like to think things are getting, we just get better and better and better and better and quicker and all this stuff. And
we're not resting on our laurels. Right?
No, we know a thing or two about making guitars at this point, right?
Yep.
Whether somebody else wants to agree with that or not.
Yeah.
But we're not exactly the new kids on the block as far as making guitars. How many guitars you make a year? Oh, 6.
Yeah.
No, we're not those guys.
We're definitely not those guys.
No. We have, I think, 20 guitars right now, 25 guitars in various stages of completion. We have 12 that are ready to be, and most of them already have most of the parts on them.
Can you hand me that one there?
This one?
Yeah. So there was a time, gang, so Chris, hold that one, and I'm going to hold Lance's here.
Okay.
There was a time that the guitar that I'm holding in my hand was the ideal. This was like, I am so proud of this guitar. The one that Chris has in his hands was finished just the other day. It's a current production instrument. Yeah. I mean, there's no contest. These are like night and day difference.
Yeah.
Although there's a lot of similarities, the guitar that you're holding I would put that guitar against any guitar in the world. I would go to any boutique shop full of soulless turds and put my guitar
Guys
up against.
They know something.
Yep. I would put my guitar up against any one of those other soulless hunks of junk that's in that shop, and those guys in that shop can say what they will, but this guitar kicks ass.
Yeah, this guitar is virtually flawless. Oh, that's an interesting thing. That guitar as good as I could do 10 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
So,
but look at this thing. I mean, it's got everything. This is an awesome guitar. Like I say, I would go into any shop with this guitar. And I said that I should do this and I haven't done it yet. Maybe one day I will. We need to expand our audience a little bit. But I think, guys, that when you pick it up, you'll agree. I don't want to put this guitar down because this guitar has soul. There's something about this guitar that I can't. It's not supernatural, but it's certainly extrasensory. You know what I mean? Brian sent us another super chat and says, "TTG guitars got soul. If you don't agree, you ain't shit." Insert hamburger icon here. God bless you, Brian. When are we going to see Brian again? Are you coming down to build amps with? Oh, Chris, tell us about the weekend that you got.
So this Saturday and Sunday is the first build a classic tube amp class. This one is the YB359 Fender Deluxe class, and 5 of us will be here. I know everybody.
It's going to be fun. So we got you are standing in for Doug. Sir David Dangerous will be here. Rodney from Alaska. Gary Redburn and Federico is coming back all the way from New York. He said he traveled
in here on Monday.
He said he traveled 2,000 miles to borrow a screwdriver from us.
Yep, he did. He came in and borrowed a screwdriver, and then he left. He went on some adventures, and then he's going to come back. He'll probably be back in town tomorrow.
Do you remember what he said he's doing while he came out on Monday? I'm sure he rented a Jeep or something. Do you remember?
He sent me pictures.
Where was he going?
He was going to go to Monument Valley, New Mexico.
And he was staying in an Airbnb with a family that live in Hogan.
A Navajo family. They have. I've learned more since.
Oh, okay.
Navajo family who has a farm near Monument Valley, and they have a traditional Navajo Hogan.
Yeah.
For Airbnb. They don't live in the Hogan.
Oh, but they live close to it, because he said he made it sound like they were there. Yeah.
Well, they are. It's on the same property.
Okay.
It's almost like a mother-in-law suite.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's probably. I don't know how close it is to the main house, but it's right there. And he sent me a picture. And it's like this. It looks like like John Wayne, The Searchers. Yeah. You know, it's just this spectacular background.
And it's like Federico to a T. Like he's like he's like, hey, and he's telling the story. He's like, can you dig that? And like he was so into it. And I'm like, you know why? Because Federico's got soul. Because all you guys that watch, all you guys that come out here, all you guys that buy guitars from us, you got soul. And you want something that matches your own personality. You know what I mean? You don't want just some hunk of garbage off the rack that anybody can get. Now, I don't mean to be Robbie says that he's got some guitars he's been playing for 3 years and he's upgraded to Dylan pickups and they all got soul. I didn't start out as guitars with soul. He gave them some soul.
Yep.
So Robbie, I'm not trying to not read your comment. I've just been going off on a tangent. I go off on a tear. But thank you for commenting that, my friend. Peter says the Texas Toast story is amazing and inspiring. I don't know how you all do it. Well, sir, some days I don't know either. And if you ask Chris,
it's tell that story someday.
What it's like to work around Matt, who's manic and
not we sort of touched on this the other day. Not everybody does what we do. There's a lot of people that don't do what we do.
Yeah.
And you can minimize it, or you can talk about it. It takes a little bit of gumption and chutzpah and maybe some foolishness to go, you know what? Let's make guitars.
Hell bent for leather. I'm doing it. I'm just gonna drop everything. I'm gonna make guitars. I'm gonna quit my job.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna rent this space that I can't afford. And I'm going to proceed. I'm going to boldly ride.
Going to
and
run
at it.
Yeah, not walk towards it.
And I'm going to
Run.
impose my will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to invite a bunch of people along to help us out with all this stuff,
Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, everything on the wall is for sale.
But people often don't want to wait for their guitars, and here is
Joy has a great point. Everything on the wall and a couple of things that aren't on the wall are for sale right now. We really do need to update the buy it now page on the website. And I think that's probably going to happen sooner rather than later. Tomorrow or Saturday, Joy says. As you guys know, I do not have to be here for the amp workshop because, well, for one thing, Chris is going to be here, but more importantly, Eric Swanson from Swantronics and Henriksen Amps is going to be here teaching the class. He is a professional amp builder. I am not. You don't want me teaching that class.
I don't know. It's not that thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Seems right.
Yeah.
But you have everyone who's coming out is going to be given professional instruction by a guy who does it for real. By the way, one thing that also needs to go up on the website is we have one more kit of the Marshall JTM 45. I don't know if it's a plexi, whatever it is, you guys figure out and you can battle it out and wrestle with whether or not it's a plexi, but we've got one more of those. So you can do that. I got to get that up on the website.
Yeah.
Cause there's one more left and I have it.
Don't make me build that amp. Don't make me build that amp.
Why not?
Somebody would want to build it unless Doug wants to pay me to build it, and then I'll gladly build it.
Well, Doug actually said, "Hey, let me know if nobody wants to do that amp workshop."
Okay.
So yeah, so you can get an amp with Soul. You can get it at Texas Toast. You can get a guitar with Soul, and you can get it from Texas Toast. And by the way, there's a bunch of them that are like ready to go. There's several electrics that are going to be available for immediate shipment. We've got pickups on the way from Dylan. We just got a boatload of tuners from Hipshot that we probably need to reorder again.
Reorder right away
because we've got a boatload of guitars that just need tuners. Mm-hmm. So, guys, you got to realize that like getting stuff from the East Coast is just kind of delayed right now. Mm-hmm. Even if you're not in the path of the hurricane, there's just other stuff that like the airports that get. All sorts of stuff gets dorked up when some major weather happens. So anyway, let's see, guys. We're really close to being done here. I'm ready to go home and eat some dinner and hang out and maybe get into the deluxe edition hot tub. Tonight.
Yeah.
So.
Something that I want to see if we can't correct.
Okay.
And stop, and maybe this amp class is a good place to do it.
Okay.
Is the idea that because sometimes people come to class and they build a guitar and they're like, well, I don't know how it'll sound.
Yeah.
And then they wind pickups with Dylan. And they're like, well, I don't know how these pickups are going to sound. And now we're going to build some amps. I don't know how this amp is going to sound.
Yeah.
It's going to sound great.
Yeah.
Because you're using quality stuff.
Yeah.
And you're doing it all by hand. You're paying extreme attention to every single step.
Uh-huh.
But it happens over and over again. Well, I don't know how these pickups sound. They sound okay to me. Mm-hmm. Well, then they sound good, right?
They're awesome. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I like this guitar that I built in class.
The takeaway is you will not fail. Okay.
No,
there's no
something. And I mean, really, you come to a Texas Toast class, you build a guitar, maybe you get to wind some pickups. You take an amp class, you end up with an amp that you assembled yourself.
Yeah.
How awesome is that? You play it, you're like, stop doubting every step, everything you do. Yeah. Go, you know what? I pretty much kicked ass at that.
Yeah, there's never been a skid mark walk out of here on Friday with some turn.
Yeah, I made a really cool guitar that I really like.
Yeah.
And I assembled a really cool amp.
Yeah.
That sounds really good. And one of the funny things is when we were talking to Eric early on, he's like, really, as a guy that does this, the old stuff is cool, but the new stuff sounds just as good.
It's boss.
And assembling an all hand wired tube amp, you're going to end up with an amp that sounds awesome.
You're gonna
As
get
good or
something
better
cool. You're gonna get something
than-
cool.
than an old one, and it's, you know, ready to last a while.
Yeah.
It's not going to fall apart.
Yeah.
So,
That's right.
you know, so yeah, it could be your last amp, the last amp you ever buy.
The first amp you ever built, the last amp you'll ever need.
There you go.
Okay. All right, gang. Well, so we're going to take off. We'll see you tomorrow for a cool reveal. And thanks for hanging out with us. Have a great night, everybody.
Six on the nose.